So the OnePlus 6 is now official, but what's different about it and how does it compare to last year's OnePlus 5T? Let's take a look in this quick comparison. Spoiler alert, not a whole lot. One of the biggest and most notable change between the OnePlus 6 and the OnePlus 5T is really all on the outside. The OnePlus 6 uses a mostly glass design, whereas the OnePlus 5T was an all metal unibody design. So the OnePlus 6 sort of follows in the same sort of design footsteps as the Samsung Galaxy S9, the LG G7 Thin Q, and even the Apple iPhone 8 and iPhone 10. So it has glass on the front and back and metal rails along the sides, and it still feels really sturdy and high quality. Build quality has never really been an issue with OnePlus phones, but this is very different from last year's design, and I think a lot of people are going to be pretty split on how they feel about this new design. Some people may like it more, and some people may not like it quite as much. You'll also notice that the cameras on the back have been repositioned. They're in the middle now instead of in the left corner, and they also changed the shape of the fingerprint sensor to more of an oblong shape instead of a circle, but this doesn't really affect any functionality whatsoever. It's just an aesthetic difference. One design change that I actually like a lot is the relocation of the notification slider on the OnePlus 6. It's now on the right side, whereas with previous OnePlus devices, it's been on the left. And this may not sound like that big of a deal, but having it on the right side makes it a lot easier to reach with your thumb, whereas before you had to awkwardly reach it with your middle finger or your index finger or use your other hand. So I like this change a lot. It may sound pretty minor, but it makes a pretty big difference. The screen on the OnePlus 6 now has a notch, and depending on how you feel about notches, you may or may not like that, but OnePlus does give you the option to hide it if you don't, but otherwise it's still pretty much the same as the OnePlus 5T. It is a little bit taller at 19:9, but it's still a 1080p display, and it's still an AMOLED display that's very vibrant and gorgeous. Now, of course, with the OnePlus 6 being a brand new flagship smartphone, you have updated specs for 2018. So you have the Snapdragon 845 processor along with 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, whereas the OnePlus 5T had the Snapdragon 835. You also have 64 or 128 gigabyte storage options, but this year OnePlus has stepped it up a notch, no pun intended, and has added a 256 gigabyte option as well. The OnePlus 6 and OnePlus 5T have the same 3300 mAh battery, but unfortunately there's still no wireless charging, even though the OnePlus 6 has a glass back now, and it also isn't IP certified, but OnePlus does say that it carries some sort of resistance to water, despite not having an official IP certification. As far as the cameras are concerned, the OnePlus 6 carries the same 16 and 20 megapixel combo as last year's 5T, but this time around they've added optical image stabilization and made the pixels 19% larger, so it should perform better in low light. They've also added some new features like 4K video recording at 60 FPS and improved portrait mode effects, so you can add stuff like hearts or stars to your portrait mode bokeh. There's really no surprises when it comes to the software on the OnePlus 6 and 5T. Again, they're pretty much identical here. You have Oxygen OS running on Android 8.1, so it's that same clean stock-like Android experience with the same Oxygen OS features, but with the OnePlus 6 you will have the option of running the Android P beta when the phone launches if you want to get a head start on using Android P. But that's pretty much it for this quick comparison between the OnePlus 6 and the OnePlus 5T. If you own a 5T, do you think this would be worth the upgrade? And do you think some of the changes that OnePlus has made are better or worse? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. We definitely appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, which is also down below if you haven't already. And of course, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And check us out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Google+, all that good stuff will be linked down below. And check out the website as well for more in-depth coverage, AndroidAuthority.com, because we are your source for all things Android.